Hello, my name is Colton Wedge, and I'm doing my project, or I did my project over Martin Luther, theologian and the founder of the modern day Christian Church, Lutheran Church, and Protestant Church. So, a little bit about him. Like I said, he was the founder of the Protestant and Lutheran churches and the modern day Christian Church. A little bit about his personality. Historians are debating whether he was more introverted or extroverted. But the consensus, the general idea was that he was more introverted. And the biggest reasoning for that was because he spent a lot of time in prayer, spent a lot of time talking to God, and spent a lot of time writing and reading, despite his inspirations and what he did. He was also very rebellious. We'll talk about later, that he created his own church. He created the Protestant and Lutheran churches out of the Roman Empire Church, out of the Catholic Church. He was a little bit arrogant. He challenged the beliefs of everybody, the beliefs especially of the Catholic Church and the beliefs of his father and his parents that were insisting that he go down a certain path, and he didn't want to. He also was intelligent and very spiritual. His whole life was a spiritual journey. He tried to figure out, I don't want to say the meaning of life, but he tried to figure out, what his purpose was on this earth through the majority of his life. In his early life, he was born into peasants in 1483. The height of the Renaissance, actually the middle of the Renaissance, in Germany, just outside of Wittenberg. And the reason I'm tying these two together, as you know, Christianity and Protestantism inspired a lot of Renaissance art, and Martin Luther creating the new churches helped inspire the many art, portraits, sculptures that we see come from the Renaissance era. He was born into peasants, and the family, especially his father, wanted him to get into law. So he was sent to law school at age 18 and started going through school up until about he was 21, and decided, this is not what my calling in life is. So he decided to pursue religious work and got involved with the Roman Catholic Church. A little bit into the Roman Catholic Church, though, in his studies, he found a large amount of corruption, a large amount of lying, and a large amount of just churches acting how they should not. And he decided after that to become a monk and work for a monastery in Germany. At age 27, like I said, he witnessed some terrible corruption within the church. The Pope and church leaders not doing what the church should be doing, and the priests acting inappropriately and disobeying the laws of God that they took an oath to follow. And he thought that this was no way priests should act, this is no way church leaders should act, so he decided to do something about it. He wrote a list of 95 grievances and put them all around Wittenberg, where he went to school and studied theology and eventually became a professor there. But he put out his list of 95 grievances against the Holy Roman Empire and against the Catholic Church, and that did not go well for them. The Holy Roman Empire being the most powerful empire in the world at that time, in the middle of the Renaissance. They excommunicated him and eventually exiled him. In that time, though, he started to study Scripture more. In his defense, he attempted to use the New Testament and Scripture, and also the word of Christ, the word of Jesus, and it failed miserably. He was debating biblical truth. He was speaking biblical truth, but the Holy Roman Empire, being the massive government that they were, did not give him any leeway. So, of course, he was exiled and excommunicated. While he was in exile, he continued to read the New Testament, particularly Psalms 22. And Psalms 22 grew really close to him, and he finally found his spiritual acceptance, and this would be in the year 1513. He finally found out, after many years in his life, thing that he was searching for, and that was spiritual guidance and spiritual acceptance. His new belief and his new system changed the face of Christianity, changed the core belief system of Christianity from being more about a religion, more about following rules, into a religion that is centered around Jesus. The new church, in 1514, only a year after he read Psalms 22 and changed his views on spirituality and life, he led a revolt of peasants against the Holy Roman Empire in 1514. Unfortunately, thousands were killed, but they got their point to the Holy Roman Empire, and they stated that that they would no longer submit to the Holy Roman Empire. He created the new church called the Lutheran Church, and eventually his followers created a new branch of the Lutheran Church called Protestantism. And many places around the world still focus on what he taught and teaches. And this also serves as the basis of modern churches. The Assemblies of God, most non-denominational churches, Baptism, Methodism, all these standard branches of Christianity. He met his wife shortly after too. She attended Wittenberg University and escaped the corruption within the Catholic Church. And together they had 6 children. Until his death in 1546, he served as a lead professor of theology at Wittenberg. He continued to preach and give the gospel message. He suffered from many health conditions, including heart, digestive, and arthritis, many conditions that were common in the Renaissance era, but were not properly diagnosed. And some historians argue that that's what ultimately took his life. The legacy that he left was a new church, and it's definitely something as a Christian that inspired me. The rebellious spirit that he had, the rebellious spirit that many leaders within the early church had in the Renaissance, is just inspiration for, I feel like, a lot of Christians, that we don't have to live under the law. We can be free. And the things that he taught were just absolutely amazing. And I did my works cited page. It was a biography website, and I will be submitting that as well. But how this ties into the Renaissance era: Christianity inspired a lot of art, and Catholicism inspired a lot of art. And even before his death, we see the famous painting by Da Vinci, of the Last Supper. And even though that was before his life, that was actually during his life that was painted. But during his life, we can see that was painted. And when his new church was formed 15 years later, you could definitely see more of a connection between the Last Supper and the new Christian church. Yeah, that is it.